call them players, call them womanizers. But what we're really dealing with are narcissists. When you first meet, they seem amazing.
Gotcha.
What, are you flirting with me?
What, me? No.
Narcissists are easy to flag.
Ann Marie, how are you doing? Nice to speak to you.
Nice to speak to you, Howard. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's a pleasure to speak to you, and thanks so much for a great movie. I had a lot of fun with it. It's I was surprised because it's at its core it's a comedy, but I read that it was something that was very, very much inspired by a relationship that you'd kind of gone through with someone who was very narcissistic. So I'm quite curious, why put yourself through kind of reenacting what you've been through as a comedy?
Well, what a great question. So why do it as a comedy? I will tell you why. So yes, I did date a narcissistic person in my 20s. It was a very tumultuous and damaging really relationship that I had with this person. We were engaged at one point, but the reason why I wanted to make it a comedy was because at the time, and it took me years to kind of unravel what had happened to me. There were many reasons why I didn't understand it. And then eventually, finally, as we started talking about narcissism as a culture, I was like, oh my God, this is what happened to me. And it was really a relief almost to understand and have a language for it. But I'm also a comedy writer, and I'm an improv comedian. I had written other films that are comedies, and it's just, for me, I know it's a cliche, but like, laughter is the best medicine. And the more I could kind of get a 10,000-foot view of like what had gone on and some of the crazy gaslighting that happens, the weird devaluations, what this person, the insults that were tossed my way, they were just ridiculous. They were absurd, and so I was able to maybe take my power back a little bit through this idea of laughter. Right. But I did want to balance it. Like, I didn't want to make it so broad that you couldn't, feel the sorrow and the shame that these characters are kind of grappling with. So I was trying to balance the tone. That was something that was a feat and a challenge. And I had lots of great people on my side that helped me craft that. Not only my co-writer on the script, Jenna Milly, but also my DP, Martine Vienne, who helped me with the photography, because I was talking about, like, in certain scenes, I wanted more rom-com lighting, big, poppy, golden light, and, as we're being idealized. And then, undercurrent that with something gritty and digital and reality. I wanted reality to kind of come in and crash into the imagery that was being created during our falling in love period. But yeah, comedy for me is just my medicine, a little, so that's why I leaned into that.
I was going to say, it's everybody's medicine, but a lot of people can get offended by comedy about certain things. So yeah, it depends. But yeah, for me as well, it's the best medicine. I'm ever feeling down, I like to watch like a stand-up special or something, just to kind of take the pressure off completely. I'm glad that you brought up that you wanted to also kind of balance that levity with how serious kind of these red flags, gaslighting, these themes are, which kind of worked brilliantly with the kind of the dynamic between Sherry's Diane character and of course Marisa's Judy character. I'm getting mixed up with the names there.
Yes, okay.
Because she's very much she's wearing red flag colored glasses throughout the film. Yeah. Whereas even though Sherry's very much the kind of, she provides a lot of the humor, even though what Marisa does, even though it's very kind of straight faced, very it works in its own specific humorous way, but it's the way that you have got this comic foil with Sherry, and kind of this at the same time she serves as an emotional compass for Marisa. So I'm quite curious, kind of how you gauged specifically Sherry's character to make sure that it kind of didn't tip into one more than the other, if you get what I mean.
So how did I engage Sherry's character Diane
to make sure that she didn't kind of veer in too much into kind of the red flag side and the darker side,
right.
or too much kind of the levity.
Yes. Okay. So as writing the script, learning about narcissism and understanding narcissism and how it works and why and all those things, I feel like Sherry's character in the film is sort of like the audience that maybe has not dated a narcissist or knows nothing about narcissism, and is like, you sound crazy, like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't even know what you mean, and so I wanted to kind of bring the audience through her asking these questions, as sort of like a little bit of a class, like, what do you mean and why, and let me kind of poke fun at this because you're taking this very seriously and I'm not, until she starts to realize what is going on in her own world. And it's funny because nobody is going to go into a relationship and say, I'm dating a narcissist and that's okay. We don't know we are dating narcissists. We have no idea. We think we've met our soulmate. We think we've met our person, our favorite person. And for various periods of time, that could be very true until things start to unravel, because they always do. With a narcissist, you always end up in their cycle of relationships, which is idealize, devalue, discard. And, that is a very difficult thing to go through, especially when it's somebody that you loved, So with Sherry, I was just trying to bring in sort of like the naive, more of a naive audience point of view, so that everybody could understand it, whether you have been through it or not, that you would actually get something from the movie and enjoy the process along the way.
Something that I really appreciated with Marisa's character is the fact that she is so obsessed and adamant that this guy's a narcissist. Is that there's this paradox? I mean, like Carl Jung. I think you studied psychology. Carl Jung himself, he said that what irritates us most about others leads us to an understanding of ourselves, and we kind of see that with Marisa's character, because she is so adamant that this guy's a narcissist that it kind of it has an effect on her, that she kind of becomes almost a kind of a narcissistic in the same way that she's trying to kind of protect her daughter from the narcissism that she doesn't want her to get involved with, right? Was that something that you really wanted to kind of depict in the film?
And it's something that, like, I as I did my research around narcissism and talked with people and stuff, I at the time, this again, it was like 10 years ago, and I noticed that when you're in these relationships, I call it, and I think other people have called it this as well. I don't want to say it's my term that I've coined, but it's something that I did kind of latch on to early, which is called getting their fleas, getting the narc fleas. Because when you're in a relationship with someone who is not healthy, you become unhealthy. It's very difficult to not start acting out in ways that are unhealthy. And you'll see this a lot with people who have been, in long marriages or long relationships, or even, situations where your parents are narcissists. And this is kind of what you have learned. You're not a narcissist, but you might have gotten their fleas, and you have to like work on yourself, And so that was part of what I was doing in the film, was that it's Judy's journey. It's her story. Marisa is my leading lady. And, her journey to self-acceptance and love and forgiveness, because a lot of us feel really, really stupid that we were in these relationships, especially people who are like high functioning empaths. You get sucked into it, and then you're like, oh my God, what have I done? I've stayed with this person who has humiliated me, shamed me, insulted me, cheated on me, all the things. And but you still stay. And so part of that journey was forgiveness for herself. And really, it's a message for everyone. Like, if you're grappling with something within yourself, like, turn inward and try to find love and peace for yourself, because that's the best way forward.
And that's a fantastic message to finish off. finish off with it. Give me the wrap. So listen, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for a fantastic film. I wish you the best of success with it. I'm sure it's going to go down really, really well. And I hope to speak to you again sometime soon.
Me too. This is fun. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to speak to you. All right. Take care.
You too.
Have a
Take
good
care.
day. Cheers now. Bye now.
She's your daughter. Let her live her life. There's plenty of warm-hearted, romantic souls out there.
I think Eva will come around soon.
You smell good. There, you go with this. It's hot.
Give me your phone.
No. Are you out of your mind?